I think that Honorable Ntuli made an extremely dangerous statement, trying to justify why the president can attend and say we can't subject him to legal what because it's a sitting president and all of that. What's that? What's that? Anything else that Matala got subjected to, the president can be subjected to that. There's nothing special about being a sitting president. Nothing at all. You must never come and impose those things that you do in your parties into the parliamentary processes where we're all equal. It's not a party meeting here. It's a parliament sitting, Adhoc committee calling South Africans to come and appear before it. So to come and tell us that it's a sitting president and then therefore we can't subject him to what, for what? It's even worse because he is the one who initiated this thing. He needs to come and account what was the rationale behind it. What was the intention about it? What were its strategic objectives? Did we achieve that? There is an allegation that this thing that you said, this intervention that you said must be done, is a wasteful expenditure, it's useless and all. Do you agree with that? Has it achieved? You cannot do that through letters. When he talks to us in a manner that will be engaging with him, it's effectively clarifying South Africans. And he may not be in a position to do it in a much more effective way through a letter than to appear before the committee. So I don't know which rule are you using. I don't know which rule are you using that says the president may not be subjected to this or that. We never said anyone must be subjected to any legal processing. We said the three names must be subjected to our legal team and evidence leaders who must come back and say, we think the most effective way will be to make a submission, or we think here there is concrete issues that warrant a person to appear physically. And we'll take it up from there. That's when we said other people must also be referred to for a final decision to be taken. Of all the names we've raised here, all those names are the same as the name of President Ramaphosa. And there's nothing special to be told that he's a sitting president, therefore he can't do 1, 2, 3. So if President Ramaphosa can't do that, let's not all do it. We must all not do it. Why must others do these certain things and someone, because he's a sitting president, he can't do certain things? That's why we are where we are with Pala. Exactly that attitude. Exactly that attitude, that when there is a wrongdoing, people get to be treated differently from other people. We must never create a problem of dictatorship which has collapsed states in Africa, where a democratic state will warrant that all of us subject ourselves to the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. And no one is above the Constitution, including the judges. We are all the subject of the Constitution, including the president. And Honorable Skosana is right to give the example of President Mandela. He likes going around President Ramaphosa saying he's mimicking President Mandela. But when it comes to critical issues, he doesn't want to apply the same principles of a man that he says he's following in his footsteps. There's nothing unconstitutional that we're suggesting here. If anything, the ANC chief whip proposal is partisan and is unconstitutional and sets a wrong precedence that presidents can be treated differently from how other citizens are being treated. No, we're all equal before the law. And your suggestion is right. To say refer to the legal team, you're simply saying we're getting some opinion on, some advice on whether really should he come, should he make a submission on this one. Do you think you'll add any value or things like that? And then they come and then tell us. And sometimes we don't like their advice. We still rule against their advice. So please, we cannot, as the basis of not asking the president to appear and say we are not doing it because he's a sitting president. That is extremely out of order and unacceptable. Thanks, Chair.
We maintain consistent. We have agreed, as a matter of procedure, not politics, not emotion, we've agreed the president will submit in writing. There's no reason to change that now. So from our side, we maintain President Ramaphosa must make his submission in writing. The legal team should provide those questions that we deem necessary for clarity on our part. And then, of course, based on the Constitution, we reserve the right that upon reading that written submission from the president, if it's vague and we require clarity on a matter, we have a constitutional right to call the president to account and clarify orally if need be. But let's remain consistent. It's for that reason, Chair, that I maintain the submission. The president should give a written submission. Thanks.
Chair. Chairperson, before you go there, a person can't just distort me in my presence.
Let's do like this, Honorable Madam. Let's allow Honorable Vessels to speak.
No, but I don't want to come in through those things of point of order and all of that.
I very much agree with you. We will give you time if there is any matter that Honorable Falls has said that you want to clarify. We will give you that opportunity to clarify.
Okay.
Yes.
Consistent that I said. I'm saying the president must appear. That is my view, and that is the view of the EFF. The president must appear. However, I listened to your summary, and I said, I will respect your summary that suggests the president's name will be amongst the names that are going to be sent back to the legal team, and then not legal team or evidence leaders. Then they will advise as to who, according to what they have, should appear and who should submit an affidavit. But my first prize, which is the president must appear, I will want the president to appear, but I respect the summary you gave earlier until your chief whip came to contradict you and contested you and said to you, you can't subject the president to what you are saying he must be subjected to. So that's when I came in. But otherwise, if you ask the EFF position, he must appear. And if we're voting, we're going to vote for him to appear. But we took your counsel when you said, let's refer it to the legal team or evidence leaders. They will advise as to who must appear, who must send the affidavit. Then you were told the chief whip is off the line, is not online, but there's something wants to address you about it. There's something wants to address you about. And then when he comes back, he contradicts completely what you summarized on. And that's what makes us to make this kind of inputs, because despite the fact that we had an original position, we respected your summary. Now we're being brought back because someone was not even online to hear your summary, came back. There's a space was booked for him. No, they want to address you on this. Then when they come, they say something else that a South African who happened to occupy the office of the president is not equal to the rest of us. That's not what I never contradicted myself. I said this is an EFF position, but we're in a meeting. We come from different political formations. The chair will give the summary. Even if we don't like it, we have to respect it. And that's what I said. I respect your summary. But that he must submit an affidavit without being subjected to what you said he must be subjected to on the basis that he's a sitting president. That is nonsensical. It's unacceptable. That I don't agree with. It can't be the reason why we say he must submit an affidavit. The reason can't be he's a sitting president. Never.
Yeah.
Polite way, take us through each name and why. And sufficient motivation must be given as to why certain people should be called. I don't know Moodley. I hold no brief from Khan, but I'm still struggling in my mind. Why is Khan being called? Because I always try to just pay attention to hear, okay, what is the issue here so that even when Khan comes, we should be ready, prepared, and all of that. I still can't find anything that suggests of anything that is different from what we have been listening to. Um, um, so I don't think there is the basis for those two names to be called and occupy a space which could be occupied by someone who's helpful. That one of the PA of Paul Osalo, and I agree with because there's been a lot of exchange between them. McBride, actually, it looks like it was used as a conduit in between the two. And what even motivates me more is that it looks like we're still going to have a huge battle with McBride, with Paul O'Sullivan to come. So if we can get someone like that who worked and then was going between, even participated actively in some of the activities, um, impersonating IP and all of that. So there is something there to be canvassed with there. And perhaps you can even give us more, which we were not anticipating. I don't know why there's such a huge defense on Cyril Ramaphosa, on President Cyril Ramaphosa, because the Cyril Ramaphosa is not being called on the basis of him being implicated in a manner that is negative or anything of that sort. The whole original thing came from him. It originated from him. So it should have been called actually a long time ago. What was the intention? What was the objective? Why did you agree to this thing? And given what the minister did, are you also satisfied that that which you had assigned that must be attended to has been attended to, and so on and so forth? I think it's the right thing to do. You had deputy minister there. Okay, you had three people who were the most useless people, not as individuals, but for this purpose. The acting minister of police was of no purpose. He had nothing to do with this. Deputy minister of police, both of them, they had nothing to do with this. Didn't help us with anything. A person who originated this, he might not have called it a PTT, but he goes to a funeral of an ANC councillor in his ANC capacity, and then he says, from now onwards, we're going to deal with this problem of political killings in South Africa, in particular in KZN. Then I'll put ministers together. He put interministerial committee to work on what could be the immediate intervention, and then they give it to their operational guys, generals, DGs, and all of that. Then they conceptualize a concept which gives birth to PKTT, and then they go back to IMC, and then the IMC, obviously, they went back to the president to say that intervention we spoke about, that we think it can be framed in this way. And therefore, if you agree, this is how we're moving because we want to achieve the following. Then he gives it a thumbs up. Something that he gives a thumbs up gets dissolved during 31st of December, where everybody's in a different mood. Even if they pretend to be listening, as long as it's not festivities, they necessarily do not pay too much attention to that. And this has led to where we are now. And the argument from the minister is that, well, this thing has done its own thing. It's not even PKTT, it's NPKTT and all of that. So the president can help the committee to understand and have an appreciation of what was the expectation when you did this. And are you happy with how it unfolded? Are you satisfied that it has done its job? What is your comment on this or that? Because we are not a committee established by the president. And therefore, we can hold the president accountable. And when we hold the president accountable, it must never be seen to be something as if it's hostile, like, no, they are fighting. And if they are fighting with President Ramaphosa, we're going to throw in President Zuma, we're going to throw in Natintlego, and. So I don't think that should be the spirit. The spirit should be within, the understanding that this is the originator of this idea that has actually even brought us here as a country. So anyone who can be of help to us, and we hold the view that President Ramaphosa can be of a very, serious help to the commission. I mean, to the Adhoc committee. In relation to Mbalula, I'm still not persuaded that there is anything that warrants Mbalula's appearance. If there is a new evidence of 47 million and then 7 million, and we're not given anything material except that the utterances were made, we can just write him a simple letter and say, there is this thing, what is your response? And based on his response, we'll determine whether he still has more to clarify or not. So I think that will be my take, but I fully agree that having canvassed this, it must still go back to our legal team, evidence leaders, to advise as to who do they think will be of value after listening to all of us. Thanks, Chair.